Faced with a declining enrollment and an even steeper drop in its budget, Gary Community School Corporation is looking at ways to reorganize. Local lawmakers have one suggestion: downsizing the school board from 7 to 5 members and giving 2 of the appointments to Gary's mayor. Talk about the idea. We have Representative Charlie Brown of Gary, who's also head of the Northwest Indiana delegation. Representative Brown, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Steve.
So, Gary School Board, Gary Schools, they've been at a crossroads for a while now. How does changing the school board makeup help things?
Steve, this is a corporation. And as you are fully aware that with every corporation, if there's going to be change, the change starts at the top. And in this particular case, it's a recommendation and an interest of many citizens that we change the composition of the school board for a couple of reasons. When I first became an employee of the school system way back when, there were 64 schools in the Gary Community School Corporation. We are now down to 14. In 92, and it's only been since 92 that the school board members were elected. Prior to that, the mayor of the city appointed all 5 members of the school board. So now we're in 92, I introduced legislation that was passed that says we will overlay the 6 councilmatic districts in Gary and elect a school board trustee in each one of the councilmatic districts and then have one at large so we wouldn't have an even number of members of the school board.
So you were saying originally it was your idea to have the fully elected school board in the first place?
Correct.
So what changed your mind?
The citizens, the same ones that said let's elect, now they're saying something needs to happen. The school corporation is in dire needs, and so why not change the composition of the school board? And here's what the major reason: there were schools all over the city of Gary. We have the district concept, but in one of the districts there are no schools operating. In 2 of the districts, they only have 2 schools in each of the districts. So citizens are saying, why do we need to stick with the district concept when some of the districts do not have any schools or a minimal number of schools operating? So that's what brought on the discussion about changing it and reducing it to 5 and having only 3 elected and have them elected citywide and give the mayor 2 appointments. Why the mayor?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, why
Let
the
me
mayor?
ask the questions. Yeah, why the mayor? This was an idea that actually came up during Scott King's administration. He wanted to follow the lead of Mayor Daley in Chicago and take over the school system. He did not get a very warm reception in Indianapolis.
Yeah, and I acquiesced to the wishes of Mayor Scott King and gave him 1 appointment with the caveat that the person would have to have certain qualifications. And in my opinion and opinions of others, Mayor King did not follow that the edict of the legislation in terms of the person that he appointed. Now, if you will recall, just this week, I think it was, in one of the dailies, there was an article talking about the Gary schools and that the issue was brought to the mayor's office. The mayor is always involved in some manner with the school corporations. When a new business wants to move into the community, 2 questions they raise: Mayor, what is your public safety like, and what is your educational system like? And so therein lies the question that is being raised: should the mayor have some direct involvement pre-1992, as it was, when the mayor appointed all 5 members?
But, and I've spoken with the mayor right after she was elected on this issue, and at the time she wasn't real excited about the idea of taking over the schools, figuring that, running the city of Gary is a pretty big responsibility in and of itself. There are enough challenges there that she didn't need to run the schools. Do you think that's changed?
Well, I don't know how you're defining take over, because in this scenario there would be 5 members, 3 of them elected by the public at large, and 2 would be appointed by the mayor. And another reason that has been given for giving the mayor appointments is all the time we do not get the expertise that we may need to really set policy through the elected process. So therein lies, hopefully, that the mayor would look at appointing someone with an accounting background, a business background that would assist in the policy setting for the school corporation.
And do you think that's because that's really the question, how would things change if you had a school board that was fewer members and some of them appointed members? I mean, how would that change what happens on the ground with the Geary school system?
This is my personal opinion. A couple of years ago, not too distant past, the school board of trustees had the real hard issue of downsizing, saying we need to close, because of the declining enrollment, we need to close some schools. We have more schools than we need, but it was a delay, because each of the district members were saying, yes, we need to close a school, but don't close a school in my district. And so as a result, we lost a lot of revenue. We lost a lot of time. We lost an opportunities to sell those vacant buildings now to other business interests. None of that occurred. We may not be in the dire straits financially that we are today had we 8-10 years ago gone ahead and made those hard decisions.
So is this a vote of lack of confidence? The administration of Cheryl Pruitt, the current superintendent, who did just go through a school closing plan, ended up closing a high school and a couple of other buildings?
Of course not. I think it's a matter of enhancing the administration of Dr. Pruitt by having a school board that may be more targeted in looking at policy as opposed to administration.
Well, I had you on. I want to talk a little bit about, we've been talking a lot actually on the radio about the bankruptcy of the Indiana Toll Road. This is a 2006 deal, was not heavily supported up here in Northwest Indiana, though over the course of 10 years, it did bring in $3.8 billion. What do you think that the bankruptcy means now for Northwest Indiana?
I think I don't have the roll call in front of me, but I doubt if there were more than one, maybe two legislators from the Northwest Indiana area that supported that, mainly because there was no dedication of the funds. If the money is coming from the toll road only runs on this northern end. All of that revenue generated up in this area of the state, but yet a small amount was dedicated to enhancing this area of the state.
Do you think that it's going to go, and I'm hearing from the tollway, I'm actually hearing, I have an iZoom, an iPass myself. I got a little email from them saying that it's going to be business as usual as a person who has an iPass. Do you think it is going to go as smoothly as predicted now that the bankruptcy has happened?
They have indicated, both the state and the corporation that runs the toll road have both indicated that there will be no changes. The state is saying that even in the case of them selling it to another corporation, that we would have to approve that. And if things don't go as well, we still own the toll road. Well, we shall see as to whether all of that actually comes to fruition.
Governor Mike Pence just wrote a letter to President Obama saying he's going to be here on Friday in southern Indiana and saying he wants to sit down with the president to talk about including HIP 2.0 into the Affordable Care Act. Do you think, if you were in that room with the president and the governor, what would be your counsel about including that part of expanding Medicaid using HIP 2.0?
My first comments would be, President Obama, why don't you just tell Governor Pence to just erase HIP 2.0 and put Medicaid expansion up there, because that's what, in essence, what it is. The governor just does not want to own up to he's expanding Medicaid. And in the meantime, 350,000 Hoosiers suffer as a result of him trying to be in the middle of the road. He's getting beat up both ways, by those that say expand Medicaid, by those that say we don't want that Medicaid money, yet he has received that money and willing to use that money right now. This consumer responsibility is his main issue, about whether in fact if you're getting something you should be more involved in it and also participate in it financially.
All right. So in the end, would you recommend that the president go ahead and go with the governor and let it go through, even though it's different than expanding Medicaid?
Yes, I would. I introduced and sponsored the legislation that created the original HIP. And now, as a result of the suffering that's going on by people not having insurance, I would for sure say, Governor, please, President Obama, please go ahead and approve HIP 2.0.
There you go. Well, that's where we're going to leave it. Representative Charlie Brown, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you very much.